We're back, and there are lots of ways to be creative, and today we're going to talk about some of them. Everyone has some sort of creativity in them. Whether it's a personal thing, or whether you show it through your relationship, through keeping your relationship renewed, everyone has a gift. And it behooves each and every one of us to find that gift. Some of us are writers, some poets, some musical, but some gifts are harder to discern and more difficult to find. And how do we go about finding those? How do we find our deepest creativity?
By plunging into the depth of our souls.
Okay, that's easier said than done.
To find the pearl of great price that's within, by prayer.
Creativity can be kind of invasive if you've settled into a routine.
Well, we see creativity with kids.
Oh, do we ever?
You see the way they interpret life by their drawings. And that's something that even as adults we need to, would be wonderful to capture some of that childhood genius which is able to charm us by their drawings.
And their imagination in playing, their creativity in playing games. They don't need anything. We give them lots of toys, and more since I was young, since many of us were young. We had few things that we played with. We could make things out of clothespins. We used to use paper dolls. Imagine paper dolls, cutting out paper dolls, and be creative with the stories that we made up with them. But now the world of technology has almost stolen creativity. It's almost taken over creativity, and doesn't leave much to the imagination.
How are we creative in our interpersonal relationships? What kind of creativity is there in our married lives?
It takes a lot of creativity to stay married. I mean, this is not
It's true.
for it to come out that way. But it does. It takes a lot of creativity to stay married. You don't just get married and live happily ever after. And I'm sure those of you who are married already know that. You've got to keep things alive. You've got to keep things going. It takes a lot of creativity to be a success at your work. To be a success at school, you have to be creative. The competition for getting into colleges is amazing, and the competition for getting into preschool is amazing. So can you imagine the kind of creativity it takes just to get into a preschool these days?
Well, young kids are really challenged. I mean, that scandal that just came out shows how we have lost creativity when people have to buy their kids into school. that the kids did not have enough creativity themselves to figure out what they could do to get into university.
That was the parents creating their own way. That was the parents creating their own ways for their children to get into school.
What kind of message did you send your kids?
An awful one.
So
A debilitating one that takes away their initiative.
but creativity is a divine spark. You know, it's something, you know, you cannot teach a pianist to play the piano. You cannot teach an artist to draw. You cannot teach a violinist to play the violin.
You can teach them some basic skills, but the art is there.
The art is there already.
It's a gift. And creativity is a gift. Would you say it comes with God's grace?
Yes, and it depends on whether each and every one of us is open to that creative spark that is within us. I mean, you know, and I remember in our parish in Montreal, you know, we had kids that could play the violin, that could compose music, that could sit down and play the piano,
That could dance.
that could do art, that could do all kinds of amazing things. But it also takes the parents to encourage that in them, which means the parents themselves have got to be somewhat creative. A creative life is a life worth living. If there's no creativity in our lives, then we just, you know, we lumber along like a log flowing down a river of life going nowhere. But creativity makes a difference. It gives you the eyes to see the unseen world.
I asked a little earlier how you suggest we find creativity, and you said by searching the depths of our soul. Do we pray for creativity? Do we pray for a new way to do something? Please show me a new way to do this or a new...
Why not? The soil of your soul is already there. That has to be fructified by the Spirit. And it's there, and you just cultivate it. And as adults, we pray. We pray that the creative Spirit of God will illumine our soul, our hearts and our souls, so that we can really see reality and translate it so that others can see what you see. It's very transcendent.
Or show us something. How many movies do we see that are all the same? The plots are the same. The characters are no different from one another. There are 3 or 4 models of characters, 3 or 4 models of, and when somebody comes along with a book that has an interesting character, that has a character that you haven't seen before, it's so exciting. It's so exciting that it fires your own creativity.
Yeah, we're just going to end on that note, that the fire of creativity awakens in all of us something exciting and something new and something fresh. It helps, and something that our eyes, the heart of our eyes, see the beauty in this world. And we translate that beauty by how we act and how we live and how we love. Thank you. God bless you for listening. day.